Okay, welcome back. New game, new rules. Double check the audio here. It looks like it's going. Alright, I'm going to show two film reels and then a couple videos. These are in no particular order. You've got an Arcella in Antarctica making a heart coming out. Seems like a horrible creature. Aurora Borealis, another pic. And this comes out and makes them spin, believe it or not. It's quite trippy. We'll get a video. This is morphogenesis. You need to realize that an amoeba, that flowchart, there's another flowchart that shows their patterns through morphogenesis, and this little black witch's hat's one of them. And that there's a picture identical that was taken of this floating somebody has out there that says a floating witch hat UFO. It's real. This is what happens when you don't listen to the Adam and Eve story and they warn you that a serpent's going to get you. That's a dragon near the International Space Station. That's a double-headed dragon. You'll clearly see here eyes, teeth, the jaw, and on this side you can clearly see nostrils, eyes, the mouth, the teeth. This is at Dyatlov Pass. They took the picture that they were being warned to leave. They were upsetting the deities, entering the moon. This is on the International Space Station, and they change color when they're feeding or they're molting or they're threatened. So they're doing something to get it off of there. Here's the flowchart, so you have it. This is the deities version of theism. Your Johnny Appleseed story, Adam and Eve, this is the theism version. And it's the exact same thing. A deity sends down a thunderbird to make the native behave. If you haven't seen that, it's really cool. This was found, by the way, there's two of these. One's in a tomb, and one was found out in a desert in Mexico. There's shards everywhere. Here's an amoeba on Mars. Here's one in Italy. Here's one in the air when they're lighting up. Here they are on the moon. Here they are on Jupiter. Here's a close-up of one. Bottom shot. Taken in Canada, by the way, by a skilled photographer trying to catch a eagle. It's the best picture, in my opinion, known. And it clearly shows a tail, which changes the classification from amoeba to a protozoa most likely. And the flowchart still remains, but you'll see this blue to green and a little bit of white, and that's actually a purple tone. It's predominant. This is Dyatlov Pass. The trees that are missing in the United States would have looked like this, except they would have been on much older trees because of this weather's not very forgiving. So this is the warning at Dyatlov Pass, and I showed you what the punishment was. They were trespassing. So for all intents and purposes, the government put them together. And what's real close by to this is the Russian Cosmonaut Center, their NASA. And right after we were experimenting with calling them, they were doing the same thing, and the kids were hiking at the same time. Parachute bombs were used to disperse them. The government came, they made the wrong choice and went in the wrong direction, unfortunately. And the deity only got two of them that trespassed. The other ones were not harmed. Interesting story, huh? Okay, so I'm going to change it up a little bit, and this one's cleaner. And I like the picture. Here we have them next to jets. That's clearly a fast jet. There's one here and one here. The national security secret is they're jamming stuff through the air that's so fast and electronically hot that they're calling them, just like the STS-75 tether incident, which I'm going to show you. There's a Concorde video that shows the same thing, and it shows them touching the fuselage, going up and down, and then taking off. None of the Air Force pilots ever mentioned that. I also know for a fact that they can attach to the canopy or touch the canopy, and it freaks the pilots out. Here's another picture. We got a giant donut, and everyone thought it was a fake picture, and ironically it's going so fast, the resolution on the picture of the object going faster, the resolution's cut. Pretty fast turkey, huh? Oh, did I say dragon? This was taken at the Dietlef Pass incident, and it proves that they trespassed. The only way to have this dude pop out is to piss him off. The other one was taken at the International Space Station, where they're trespassing on an esoteric plane of the natives. You would call it heaven. Here we have the same thing, but this one's different. This is a punishment one that was sent down. Here we have yet another dragon. This was taken right next to the International Space Station as a warning. Somebody asked me, Tomax, do they cloak? There's your answer, baby. You can only see them at certain times when they're using the plasma. Here they are on the International Space Station again, and the moon. So they've achieved space flight, and it's the same thing, like I'm showing you here, but I'll show you a video of them moving. And they're coming to the military bases and the airports because of the electronics. We didn't do it right. We didn't flowchart like gifted people like Tesla told us to. The government did what they did to the natives, and they continue to do it. Okay, I skipped this one. They're not only in the moon, they're on the moon. Here is a picture of the STS-75 incident, the tether, and another. Trying to blow this up. This is what it should look like next to the space station right now. So they either solved the problem or killed them off. And I'm going to guess they killed them off because if you see the traditional, what they did to the natives, we don't have a thermonuclear bunker for civilians, but they talk shit to every other country. It's the same thing here. This is a nice close-up shot of the STS-75 incident where it used to be called the notchback because of this little notch. That's probably the tail retracted up in there swimming around that you're seeing. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, that's what my grandpa's ship looks like. The Thunderbirds can attach to, this is not a UFO, it's a symbiotic light ship. Yes, there's passengers inside, and the Thunderbirds, when you achieve space flight on the future timeline, attach to our ships, and we use it as rudder and a power. The reason you're seeing a bunch of them here is we slingshot through space as opposed to forcing our way through, and the trajectory is clear as we go through. And as you can see, we're buddies with them. They attach to our ship and we feed them bacteria and they provide the power for us. So we're symbiotic with the animals. And if this ship crashes, all you're going to find left behind is a rock that can actually support life for some animals, as well as potentially plant life and other things. So when this crashes, it's achieving, I forgot the word, panspermia. One of my favorite words. So there's that. Let's take a peek at some videos so we have a better understanding here. And it changed. Okay. That's what it should look like near the International Space Station, because they're using the same equipment.
The cameras.
Okay, same thing. And now, if you look up police dash cameras, which are pretty reliable, because they have all the data on the dash.
A tiny light appears in the sky in the distance, travelling slowly towards Earth.
Same thing on the ground. There's another one that looks exactly like a notchback where you can see it. But I always want to show the beauty in science. Here. I can't blow it up, but this is actually the International Space Station, or the earlier one. And they got a cool picture here, and it shows them all around here. Where are they now? And a handful of them do still fly by, but over the years, they're no longer in existence. There was a ton of them. So the government did something to get rid of them. And if you believe me on the story of the Thunderbirds, this is some bad news, folks. Really bad. Oh, here's the moon picture. These were real. NASA, you can clearly see the scribbling over here, and the stars are missing in the background. It just showed more of the pattern around the edge, and then you would have been able to see the texture. Same thing. And if you take a bunch of amoebas under a microscope and you actually knew about science, this is what they do. This is the picture on the Discovery Channel. It is, too bad I don't have the episode on there, but I saved it. This is a pyramid block where they use acid. You can clearly see the acid etchings here. And the fire was used to dry it. They're liquefying the rock, just like you would through Mother Nature, a running stream, and they're amplifying it. All this is sand, silica, human and animal flesh and bone in here, folks. And silica, and it's underwater pressurized. We actually found the DNA. And this is clearly etching. This is clearly burning. Etch to mold it, fire to dry it. And if you want to know what's wrong with the United States, this is probably the biggest problem. People just can't get butterflies and live in the moment anymore. Had to take that selfie. It's called vanity. Okay, here's the story behind the Thunderbird. From my understanding, it's from the Ordovician period of time, which is way older than 500 years. Way, way older. Pre-dinosaur. Amoebas, bacteria, and protozoa were known to be 15 to 30 foot in diameter. So this isn't a surprise to me if you know science. They floated up out of the water. They started on the bottom as bottom dwellers, like eating off the sand and anything they could kind of climb over to, like you look under a microscope. But through competition, they were getting picked off and learned to float with their vacuoles. By basically getting an upset stomach, they floated to the top prior to their deaths. Some of them learned how to float with the wind when they were inflated. And you can see in some of the pictures, they're utilizing that donut shape still while they're going fast. It's what they're calling a cube within a circle. It's not a cube within a circle. They want you to think UFO. I don't think that's the true wording there. Oh, I forgot my screensaver if you can see that. But what happened was, with this floaty part here, they took off into the air and they would have learned to sail. In other words, just go a little bit, like you got to walk and crawl before you fly. But they would have got up to 30 to 60,000 feet and had access to those gases that make up plasma, like your light bulbs. If you code it out, the colors that they're exhibiting, if it's pink, if you back engineer the light bulb and ask a guy the gases, you'll find the gases except for one problem. They're able to adapt to any of the different gases because they hold some of them in their vacuoles and store them. So the colors that you're seeing are little stomachs, like here all the way around in a circle, like picture about 6 or 8 of them, spinning rapidly. And what does that cause? It causes neutral buoyancy, and then they can slingshot in any which direction. Where you think they're defying gravity, they're not. They're utilizing it to their benefit. And when this animal floated up to the atmosphere, I thought that was the heavens, and God blesses people that make it up there and escape their environment. Not like the Matrix. Like this animal took a long, long time to get there. I mean, talk about motivation. Now it happens to be one of God's favorite animals, as well as the natives, as it can fly, swim, and land on land, all three. Here's the best video that I'm aware of. Pedro Ramirez. Now, if you'll notice during that video, the blue and the green color, it's utilizing what it's taking from there and mixing it. Dude, they eat Aurora Borealis. That's pretty badass, don't you think? Wanted to show some beauty and science here. It's the same thing on every single level. I'm going to post this, and then I'll post some documents that should help out a little bit like I did last time. Sorry if my voice is bad. I hope it's good enough. I heard it, and I was like, I can get an application if Johnny Knoxville does a second one of those disability movies. Would you like fries with that? Jeffy serves them hot, don't you think? Hope you enjoy. I was going to do Puff the Magic Dragon lives by the sea, but I'll get a strike and I won't have this done. So there it is. Puff the Magic Dragon out. Hope you enjoyed.